We're going to hit linear inequalities. We're going to hit compound inequalities, quadratic inequalities, and absolute values. So let's start out part A this week with linear and compound. For all of these types of inequalities, I need to see three things. I need to see the solution written out, the graph on a number line, and interval notation. Some things to recall with inequalities. First of all, just based on the symbols. We got the symbols, recap there. On a number line, the circles that you fill in, if it's not or equal to, it's open. If it's or equal to, it's closed or filled in, whatever you want to call it. When it comes to interval notation, you're going to put parentheses when you see less than or greater than. So you're going to use brackets when you see or equal to's. And then finally, going along with interval notation, if you have negative infinity and infinity involved, which we will, those always use parentheses. We don't know where they end, so we can't put a hard stopping point on negative infinity and positive infinity. Remember, with inequalities, when the symbol flips when you multiply or divide by a negative. That'll come up a couple times today. So let's get right into it. Linear inequalities, you very simply just get x by itself, and it'll be, for the most part, pretty basic ones. Let's start out with two basic ones here. You add 1 to both sides, you get 3x is less than or equal to 6. Divide by 3, x is less than or equal to 2 is your solution. I'm going to write it over here as well, just because I have that spot for it. Now, when you're graphing it on a number line, I need to see really just two things. I need to see an open or closed circle at your point. Put your point wherever you want. It's a closed circle because it's or equal to 2, or sorry, less than or equal to 2. Label that 1 point. I don't need to see any other numbers with it. And then figure out which way you need to shade or draw a line. You do whatever you are comfortable with. I need values that are less than or equal to 2. The or equal to is taken care of. The less than I take care of by shading. I see some people, or not, I actually see a lot of people do it, everything above the line. That works for me. I'm good with that. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. Interval notation, I use my graph to help me out. I read a graph like I read a book, left to right. So my interval notation starts here off to the left. It starts at negative infinity. It's going off to negative infinity to the left. And then my answer stops at 2, left to right. And I'm going to close it with a bracket because it's or equal to. It's a closed circle. That's my interval notation. That's the three things I need to see. Example number 2. Same deal. I just have a -2 out front. We'll discuss that here in a second. -2x is greater than 10. I divide by -2 in this step. I'm dividing by a negative, so the symbol flips to be -5. There's my solution. X is less than -5. It's an open circle because it's just less than. Throw a -5 on there. We're going left because we're going less than. Graph is done. Interval notation, we're going right along with it. It's going to be parentheses, negative infinity to -5. Close it with parentheses because it's an open circle. Let's check out one more with linear inequalities. Just throwing pretty much the hardest one you'll see with linear inequalities. Just multiple steps. I'll go through it. Start out by distributing. You get -7 plus 20x minus 20 less than -7x plus 5. You know how I like to do things. I like to clean things up before I cross equal signs, or in this case, inequality symbols. So I have that. Get x on one side. Might as well add that 27 over while we're at it. You get 27x is less than 32. Fractions are just fine. You're dividing by a positive. So we're okay. We get x is less than 32 over 27. Not a great fraction to deal with, but it works nonetheless. All right, so my answers are less than 32 over 27. That's my solution. Open circle, put that fraction on there. Go on less than that. So you go off to the left, however you want. Everything's parentheses because it's an open circle, and we have infinity. Go left to right. There's my solution in 3 different forms.